Live. Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İngiltere'de en iyi 17, dünyada 57. sırada olan University of Bristol'da lisans ve yüksek lisans eğitimini Sarah'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Sarah, the stage is yours now.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining this webinar today. My name is Sarah Ashman, and I am the International Market Manager for Turkey at the University of Bristol. So my role is to help students such as yourselves in thinking about applying to the University of Bristol. Today, I'm going to be giving you a really quick presentation all about the city of Bristol and the university itself as well. I'll cover a few of the reasons why we think you should consider Bristol for your studies, as well as how to apply for admission. And then I will finish up by talking in detail about our international scholarship scheme that we have available at the University of Bristol. It's called Think Big, and we offer some really attractive tuition fee discounts. So do stick around to hear a little bit more about that. So hopefully you will leave today's session knowing a lot more about the University of Bristol and feel a lot more ready about starting to make your decisions about studying with us in Bristol. So the city of Bristol then, I know it's not one that everybody's heard of, but we are based in the city of Bristol, which is a really huge part of why our students enjoy their time with us. For those of you that, like I said, might not have heard of Bristol before, we are based in the southwest of England, and we're marked with the purple dot on the map there. And we are about an hour and a half outside of London. We are the 8th biggest city in the UK, but by international standards, that's still very, very small. It's very much going to feel like a town to those of you that are familiar with big Turkish cities. So definitely a city that you can really get to know while you're a student here. We're also really well connected as a city. We're connected to the rest of the UK through the rail network and to Europe by Bristol Airport, which does make us a really convenient location if you're looking to explore and travel a little bit while you're in the UK. But the city of Bristol itself has a huge amount to offer. And like I said, that's something that our students tell us time and time again is one of their favourite things about studying at the University of Bristol. So Bristol very much has the energy of a bustling urban metropolis, so the feel of a big city like London, but with a more friendly and relaxed atmosphere that will really help you to feel at home. And we're particularly lucky at the University of Bristol because our campus, so where all of our university buildings are based, is right in the centre of the city. So our students really easily can access everything the city has to offer. And like I said, students really love the city. They say to me, what they say is that they get the best of both worlds. So you get to study at a prestigious and well-established university in a really young and dynamic city. So I'll tell you a couple of reasons as to why that Bristol is so popular. So we're known for being a creative city, packed full of arts and culture, and we're particularly well known for our love of street art and for allegedly being home to the highly secretive street artist Banksy. Most of our students actually walk past a Banksy piece on their way into campus each day, so that's really exciting, and I think really speaks to the creativity and culture that we have in Bristol. We're also a city that's often referred to as the festival city because we do have so many events taking place over particularly the summer months. One of those examples is the festival that is on the screen now. It's the International Annual Balloon Fiesta. And during that festival, over 100 hot air balloons from all over the world come to Bristol and launch at one time, which, as you can see, makes for some pretty spectacular views across the city. And while this is a scene that lots of people would associate with Turkey within the UK, it's an experience that is quite unique to Bristol. Another really exciting festival that takes place in Bristol is Upfest, and that's the largest street art and graffiti festival in Europe, which transforms the whole city into an art gallery, so you can take walking tours around the city to spot all the new pieces of art. So like I say, a really creative city with lots going on, so always something to do when you're looking for a little bit of respite from your studies. Bristol's also really proud of its multicultural community. It's a very diverse and very welcoming city and is home to people from more than 187 different countries, speaking 91 different languages. And because of that diversity, we're really lucky to have award-winning restaurants from all over the world in Bristol, including vegetarian, vegan and halal options. So I'd say if you are a little bit of a foodie and you like eating out, Bristol is definitely a place that will have lots of options for you. And I've mentioned that Bristol is a smaller city. It's also quite a compact city, but that doesn't mean that it isn't green at all. It's in fact very green. We have 400 parks within the city boundaries, and walking and cycling are by far the most popular ways to get around the city. So you certainly won't need to be battling with public transport on a daily basis. We are also a city that's very committed to protecting the environment and to sustainability. We're a former European green capital and the UK's first cycling city. And we do have a really ambitious aim to become carbon neutral by 2030. We did even have Greta Thunberg visit the city just before the pandemic to join the children of Bristol in their climate strike. So certainly a very environmentally conscious city as well as a university. But I am obviously a little bit biased when it comes to telling you how great of a city Bristol is. So I have included some other sources that agree with me to help convince you. As you can see, Bristol has been voted the best place to live outside of London, the coolest city, as well as the greenest city as well. And I think all of that combined is what makes Bristol a really great city for students and also student life. So we do have 2 large universities based within the city, which means there is a really huge student population. And that means the city very much centres around students and makes life as a student very easy here. But moving on to the university itself then, we do think that the University of Bristol is a really great choice. And I'm very pleased that you've joined us today to learn a little bit more. But to give you an idea of why we think the university is a really great choice for you, I'm going to start off by running through some of the accolades, some of the rankings that we are most proud of. So we're particularly proud to be ranked top 10 in the UK by QS, as well as 62nd in the world, which places us, just for reference, alongside other world-leading universities, such as, but not exactly the same as, Ivy League universities in the US. Our academic strength is demonstrated by 13 of our graduates going on to become Nobel Prize winners, and that's for everything from the analysis of consumption and poverty, all the way through to studies on the genetic structure of viruses. So our research is really strong. It does rank in at 5th in the UK, and I'll talk a little bit more about what that means for you as students shortly. And then finally, and very importantly, our graduates are highly employable. We have very strong reputations with employers in the UK, Europe and globally, which again, I will go into a little bit more detail about shortly. But the university itself has a long history of excellence from our foundations in 1876. One of our proudest accolades is that we were, in fact, the first university in England to admit both men and women on an equal basis. And I think that really speaks to the liberal nature and forward-thinking nature of the university, but also the broader city of Bristol as well. We are a member of the prestigious Russell Group of universities, which again confirms that the research we undertake at the university is cutting edge and world-leading. But what does that mean for you as students? So all of this excellent research is taking place, all of your professors are doing all of that research, but what does it mean for you and your studies? What it means is that you will be studying content that is very much at the cutting edge of your field, because, like I say, the academics that are teaching you, so your lecturers, your teachers, are currently actively researching. So they will feed their most latest findings right back into their teaching. So you'll really be learning from world-class experts and studying a curriculum that is informed by world-class research. Now, our course offering at the University of Bristol is very broad. It does cover a whole range of disciplines across our 6 faculties. I won't be able to go into fine detail about all of these today because there are many, many courses. But what I thought may well be useful for you is to highlight some of the courses that have traditionally been popular amongst students applying from Turkey. So as you can see here, at undergraduate level, we see a huge amount of interest in our law programme, which is taught in the Wills Memorial Building, which is the quite spectacular building you can see on the screen here. We've been a leading provider of legal education for many, many years now, almost a century. So it's not surprising that we see so much interest in our law course. We do also get a lot of interest in business courses. Computer science is, of course, an increasingly popular area of study at the moment. Aerospace engineering, Bristol is a particular hub of aerospace excellence and aerospace industry. We're home to Airbus, Rolls-Royce, and lots of other related companies. And then psychology is also another one that we see a lot of interest in as well. At postgraduate level, what we see is a lot of interest in some of our more specialist courses, which relates specifically to the research that we undergo here at the university. So courses like nuclear science and engineering are directly related to research groups within the university that are filled with academics that are particularly researching that subject. Robotics, again, is a link to the Bristol Robotics Lab, which is a centre of excellence for research on anything relating to robotics. And then you'll see a lot of interest there in specialist courses as well. So volcanology, advanced microelectronics, water and environmental management as well. We do, of course, have PhD or research opportunities within all of these subject areas. Most popular of students from Turkey is electrical and electronic engineering, followed by translational health sciences. And we are very pleased to see a growing number of Turkish research students joining us on a yearly basis. So there are many, many more courses than this on offer. There are, in fact, over 600 different courses available at the university. This is really just a taste of what's traditionally been popular. So if you are interested, do have a look at our website to see what courses we have available. All my contact details will be at the end of this presentation, and I'd be more than happy to discuss your interests with you and try and match you up with a course at the University of Bristol. Now, moving on to careers then, we know that improving your employment prospects and getting your dream job at the end of your degree is a huge part of choosing to study overseas. And we've worked really hard at that at the University of Bristol, and here are some statistics that evidence that we are a university that produces world-class students and world-class employees. So we are 9th in the UK for employability, as well as 18th in Europe for employer reputation. And as you can see as well, our graduates go on to secure work very quickly and in very highly paid jobs, which I'll talk a little bit more about now. But how have we achieved that? We achieve that by supporting you as soon as you join us with our dedicated career service. And we do recommend that students sign up and get involved as soon as you join us, because there are so many different ways that we can support you, from advising on CVs, on resumes, job applications, all the way through to interview practice, if that's something you feel you need. And if you're not exactly sure where you'd like to head with your career, then they can help you explore your career options, as well as any further study options that might be relevant to you. Throughout your studies, there will also be the opportunity to attend events hosted by top employers from the UK and overseas, so you can begin building your professional network. In a normal year, we would have more than 300 employers visit us on campus each year. So lots of opportunity there to start working on your graduate employment prospects alongside your studies. There is also the support available if you're looking to work part-time alongside your studies. Typically, students are able to work between 10 and 20 hours alongside your studies, and the Career Service can help find opportunities for you as well as internships, or if you're looking for work over the holiday periods, that support is there for you as well. But beyond that, what we have is the option within many of our courses to gain industry insight, whether that be through the professional mentoring scheme, where students are matched with professionals working in the field that they're interested in. And that mentor can help you with your professional development, to help you work through what your career ambitions are and how you can take steps to achieve that. There is also the opportunity to undergo a year-long professional placement with one of our industry partners. So that is a year that you take away from your studies and work for an entire year, which is really great because that means you have work experience when you graduate, and that's really going to enhance your resume when you graduate. There's also the option to work on industry-based projects within your course that give you exposure to real-world challenges and give you that invaluable experience that you'll need when you graduate. Lots of our newer courses as well have been designed in collaboration with industry, looking to fill specific skill gaps and to produce graduates that are industry ready. So a couple of examples of those are our engineering design and our engineering mathematics courses, both of which are examples of courses that have been developed specifically with industry needs in mind. What we also offer is a number of courses with the option to study innovation alongside your chosen subject. So that could be management with innovation, chemistry with innovation. And what that'll do is equip you with both the entrepreneurial and innovation skills to deliver new and innovative solutions to real-world problems and industry problems. So if you are a budding entrepreneur, you're interested in business, or you're interested in the startup world, Bristol has support for you to nurture that ambition. And the wider city also has that capacity as well, because we are home to the #1 business incubator in Europe. So we are quite the hub of business enterprise here in Bristol. So whatever course you choose to study, there will certainly be opportunity to engage with activity that's really going to enhance your graduate employment options and give you that exposure to industry that you need to make sure that you're ready for the world of work when you graduate. But how can you go about submitting an application to study at the University of Bristol, and what are we looking for in the applications we receive? In terms of the grades that you'll need to be achieving to get an offer from Bristol for bachelor's courses, so undergraduate courses, we're looking for somewhere between 74 and 85% from your high school diploma. The exact score will depend on the course you choose. And we can, of course, accept A-levels, the International Baccalaureate and American qualifications as well. If you want to know the exact requirements for the course that you're interested in and the qualification that you're studying at school, do pop me an email. I'd be more than happy to share that information with you. At bachelor's level, we are looking for all applications to be submitted via a system called UCAS, which is the application system that most UK universities will use. It's quite a nice application system in the sense that with one application, you can apply to 5 different universities and 5 different courses. So that's one application that goes to 5 different universities. So that is the application process for undergraduate. For postgraduate courses, in terms of academic achievement, we're generally looking for a good bachelor's degree with a minimum GPA of 3.1 or above from an approved institution. Again, if you want confirmation that your bachelor's degree is eligible and that you'd be considered, do get in contact with me. I'd be more than happy to confirm that. The application system for postgraduate courses is particularly straightforward, and they're submitted directly via our website, which you can access with the QR code that is on the screen right now, or the URL that is on the bottom of the slide. Alternatively, you can contact me and I can send that to you if you can't quite grab a screenshot of this slide right now. For both undergraduate and postgraduate courses, we will need some evidence of your English language ability. There's lots of different ways that you can demonstrate that, whether that be that you've studied in English already, you have an IELTS, you have a GCSE, and there's lots of different qualifications we can accept. But to give you an idea of the level that we need, we're usually looking for an IELTS of 6.5 or above, which, like I said previously, that will vary depending on the course that you're applying to. But yes, there's lots of different ways to meet that requirement, and you can apply, and we encourage you to apply before you've received your English language results, because we can make an offer that is conditional on achieving the level of English we need. What we also offer at the University of Bristol is a number of pre-sessional English courses for any of you that want to improve your English a little bit before you start studying with us, or if you're struggling to meet the level that we require. There is a 6 and 10 week pre-sessional English course specifically designed to support you developing your English language ability before you start a course with us. So something to consider as well if you're a little bit concerned about the English language side of the entry requirements. But now on to our scholarships then. I'm sure lots of you have questions about this, but we do have a very generous scholarship scheme available at the University of Bristol. And that is Think Big. Think Big is our flagship international scholarship scheme at the University of Bristol, which is open to all international students. It was launched with the intention of providing the best and the brightest students with financial support for their studies at the University of Bristol. The awards themselves are split across 2 separate schemes that cover our undergraduate courses and our master's courses, both of which are, like I said, really generous. For master's courses, the scholarships are awarded as tuition fee deductions of £5,000, £10,000 and £20,000, and then £5,000 and £10,000 for undergraduate applicants, and that is for every year of study. So they're not full scholarships, so they won't cover your full tuition fee, but they do cover a significant proportion of the tuition fee. There are a small number of courses that are excluded from this scholarship, and at bachelor's levels, that's courses in medicine, dentistry and veterinary science, and they are not eligible for this scholarship scheme. And at master's level, we're only able to consider courses that are 1 year in duration. So unfortunately, this scheme doesn't cover any scholarships for research or for PhD courses. But what is exciting about Think Big is that this year we have our highest ever budget. So we'll be awarding more scholarships than we ever have done in the past. And we'll be awarding £2 million worth of scholarships for students starting their studies in 2022. And that's in comparison to 1.75 million that we awarded in 2021. So there's more opportunity this year than there ever has been before. We're also really excited to have more subject-specific scholarships available for 2022 than we have had in any other year. And by applying to the Think Big scholarship scheme, you'll automatically be considered for all of the scholarships at the University of Bristol that you are eligible for. So for undergraduate level, we have additional scholarships available for anyone interested in studying accounting and finance, in studying economics, law and science. The science bursary is new for this year and particularly exciting because it'll be awarding 25 bursaries of £2,500 towards the cost of accommodation. So for any of you that are interested in physics, chemistry, mathematics, geography, or sort of environmental courses, that's a good scholarship for you to be looking at. At postgraduate level, our Future Leaders Scholarship has, like I said, additional scholarships for students applying for Masters in Management, as well as specific scholarships for Masters in Accounting and Finance, Economics, Education and Law. So if you are looking to study on any of these courses, I would certainly encourage you to apply because there are additional scholarships available for these courses in addition to the core Think Big scheme. So for any of the eligible courses, you can apply to this scholarship. But like I said, there is more scholarships available for these specific courses. But on the topic of encouraging you to apply, the application process for the scholarship is very straightforward. But what you will need to do is first apply for admission to the course that you're interested in. So for undergraduate students, that means submitting a UCAS application. And for postgraduates, that's the application form on our website. So you need to apply for the course before you apply for the scholarship, and they are separate applications. Once you've submitted your application for admission, you will receive either your UCAS ID number or an application number, which is an essential part of the scholarship application. So you'll need that number to be able to submit your scholarship application. So apply for the course first and then apply for the scholarship. This isn't an academic merit-based scholarship, so there's no specific score that you need to achieve to be eligible. Instead, we assess the scholarship applications based on your answers to 3 short essay questions where you'll have 200 words each to answer each question. And what we're really looking to hear about as part of this application is your achievements. So what are the things that you've achieved so far that you're most proud of? We want to hear about your contributions to community. So how have you been a good ambassador for your current community, and how do you intend on being a good ambassador for the University of Bristol? And then finally, we want to hear about your future plans, your career goals, and how does studying at the University of Bristol play into achieving those goals. So in this application, we really want to hear less about your academics and more about what you do outside of your studies. So like I say, this isn't an academic merit-based scholarship. Essentially, instead, what we're looking for in the application is for you to tell us how you've been able to demonstrate some of the core Think Big values, which are listed on the screen now, but they are the ability to communicate your ideas with enthusiasm. We like to see that you've developed a strong sense of self, and that you want to see that you have a growth mindset. So you're keen to develop your skills and talents, and that you're really keen to make the most of any opportunities that are presented to you during your time at the University of Bristol. And then last but not least, we are looking for proactivity as well, which I think really falls into that making the most of your opportunities. Now, I do have a couple of tips for you to bear in mind when you're working on the application. And I guess the first thing is to make sure that, yes, you tell us about the things that you've done and the things you've achieved that you're proud of, but tell us about the impact of those things or the results of what you've done and the role or your responsibilities in achieving those results. So you're proving to us that your achievements are great, not just telling us. If there's any particular way of quantifying your achievements through specific prizes or awards maybe, then that's also a good way of evidencing your achievements as well. I've touched on this already, but do try and avoid taking too much of the space to talk about your grades or your academics. From your application to the course, we will already know that those are good. So make sure to use the limited space that you have to tell us about everything outside of your studies. In the final question about your future goals, make sure to explain to us why your chosen course, particularly at the University of Bristol, is useful in achieving your goals. So Are there any particular modules within the course at Bristol that you're particularly excited about? Are there any academics that work at the university that you've read about their work and that you're really keen to work with them, and that their particular research interest is important to your career goals? So do a little bit of research and tell us exactly why Bristol is the right university and the right course for you. And then finally, if you can give specific examples about times when you've been able to really take advantage of opportunities to help others, that's really going to strengthen your application. So that's just a couple of points to think about while you're writing your scholarship application. Don't worry too much about hitting all of those points, but just bear this in mind while you're writing your application, because I think that gives you, and hopefully has given you, a really good sense of what it is that we're looking for in our Think Big Scholars. The deadline for undergraduate applications and the first round of postgraduate applications is the 28th of March. So if you are interested in a bachelor's or an undergraduate course, then please apply before that deadline, because we will not accept any late applications. But if you are looking for postgraduate studies, then you're lucky. There is a second round of applications that closes on the 13th of June. So certainly worth an application. It's only 200 words per question, and they are very generous scholarships. But like I say, please do apply before the relevant deadline, because we won't be able to accept any late applications, unfortunately. But that was all of the information I wanted to cover with you today. I do hope that you found it useful. I know it's a lot of information, but I hope it's helped you to start making your decisions about studying at the University of Bristol. But if you do have any particular questions, I'm happy to go ahead and answer those now. I'm also happy for you to contact me directly. So my email address is on the screen right now. Feel free to email me and ask any questions that you have. I'd be more than happy to help with those. You can also use the QR code that is on the screen right now to sign up for any updates about the university. So if you're not looking for 2022 entry, maybe you're thinking ahead, do sign up and we'll send you interesting information about what's going on at the university. So yeah, if you want to keep up to date with us, do have a little go at that QR code. But I can see we have had quite a lot of questions come in already, so I'll just jump into the Q&A and answer some of those. So the first one is a great question, and it's about the cost of studying at the University of Bristol, which of course is a really, really important factor to consider. So they're asking specifically about undergraduate computer science, but I'll give you a broad understanding of what the tuition fees look like at the University of Bristol. They'll vary from course to course, but they start at around £20,000 and then go up to £28,000 per year. There are some outliers from that. So our medicine and dentistry courses are more expensive, and some of our specialist master's courses are slightly more expensive. But that's the range of tuition fees. Do have a look on our website if you want to find out exactly what the tuition fees are. There's also the question about accommodation possibilities and prices. Accommodation is guaranteed to international applicants as long as you apply before the deadline, which usually is sometime in March, but we will send you many, many emails to make sure that you don't forget to do that. So accommodation is guaranteed to you as long as it's your first time studying at the University of Bristol. Now, all of our accommodation is based very, very close to campus. It's within walking distance or comes with a free bus pass. Again, it varies from in cost depending on what it is that you want. Are you happy to have a single room, shared bathroom, shared kitchen, or do you really appreciate your own space and you're looking for more of a studio apartment? Generally, it varies between £100 and £200 per week, but in total, for your living costs, we generally recommend that students budget somewhere between £9,000 and £16,000 a year. That includes your accommodation, because that's generally how much we see students spend per year. And I think having that range is really useful as well. So if you're very thrifty, you cook for yourself a lot, you don't eat out too much, You should be able to stick to the bottom end of that, if not below. But if you do like eating out, you like going out, and you have expensive hobbies, then you might be towards the top of that range as well. So that's something to bear in mind. But generally, that is the costs associated with studying at the University of Bristol. So we've got a question here, which again, I think is worth reiterating because it's really important. For the Think Big Scholarship, like I said, we want to hear about your achievements, but we don't want them to be necessarily just your academic achievements. Of course, if there is an academic achievement that you're particularly proud of and you think that makes you particularly eligible for the scholarship, then do include that. But make sure to contextualize that with other things you do outside of your studies, because we'll know from the application that you are a strong candidate academically. We'll see that from your grades, from your transcripts. So do make sure to talk about things outside of your studies as well. But yes, feel free to talk about academic achievements if they are particularly relevant as part of the scholarship application. So looking, this is a great question. So what is the minimum GPA that we would need from universities in Turkey, and what would the requirement be in terms of English language? The GPA, the minimum we can accept is 3.1. Generally, it might be higher depending on what course you're interested in. So, for example, if you're interested in some of our accounting and finance courses, they require a slightly higher GPA. But if you are achieving a 3.1 or a sort of around that GPA, I'd certainly encourage you to apply. In terms of the English level, like I said, it does vary depending on the course you're interested in, but the minimum we can accept is an IELTS of 6.5. If that's not exactly where you are right now, like I said, they are pre-sessional English courses, which means you come to the university early and work a little bit on your English before you start your course. So hopefully that helps you with knowing what our requirements are. Okay, let's look at, questions also about PhD courses and funding. So like I mentioned, the Think Big Scholarship Scheme doesn't include any research programs, and it doesn't include PhD courses, which does mean that we don't have fully funded scholarships at the University of Bristol for PhD. What you can look into is faculties within the university will occasionally have funding available. It's unlikely to be full funded. So if you are looking for a fully funded PhD, then Bristol probably isn't the place for you. But do take a look on our website, and findaphd.com is generally where all fully funded PhDs at UK universities will be advertised. So do have a look there if fully funded is what you're looking for. But Think Big definitely is not for you if it's full funding you're looking for, as we've only got discounts available. Moving on to the next question. So students here interested in psychology, which is, like I said, one of the most popular areas of study for our students. Joining us from Turkey, we do offer a psychology course at bachelor's level, which is accredited by the British Psychological Society. We also offer psychology of education. So if you're particularly interested in psychology in an educational context, we have that course available for you also. And then if you're interested in psychology, but maybe come from a scientific background, or you are quite interested in science, then we combine psychology with neuroscience as well. At postgraduate level, again, we have all of those same sort of disciplines. So we have an MSc in psychology, which is a conversion course that is open to students with no background at all in psychology. We also have a number of quite specialist courses in applied neuropsychology. So if that's your area of interest, then we're certainly a good option, as well as courses in neuroscience exclusively as well. So lots of different options depending on what exactly it is that you're interested in. I'm looking through the questions again. This is a good question, actually, that comes up time and time again. So if you are applying for a course at the University of Bristol and your previous qualification was studied and assessed completely through the medium of English, and you can evidence that with a letter from the awarding institution indicating that the language of instruction and assessment is English, you can provide that as part of your application, and we can take a look at that as part of the admissions process. We may be able to accept that as evidence of your English language ability. However, if that's not possible, like I said, there's a huge range of different English language qualifications that we can accept, whether that be an IELTS, a TOEFL, we can accept the IELTS indicator and again, the TOEFL at home, both of which can be taken quite cheaply and online. So there are other options available for you if we can't accept your previous qualification taken through the medium of English. So there are lots of different ways that you can achieve the English language level. Another question about funding. So for undergraduate courses, we don't have any fully funded scholarships. That's just not something that we offer at the University of Bristol. Our undergraduate scholarships are up to £10,000. So if you're looking for a discount, that's something we can certainly offer, but we just don't have any fully funded scholarships available, unfortunately. A good question here beyond, so we've talked generally about what the GPA requirement is. So I've said it's a 3.1, but what do we need beyond that? This is a specific question about the medical faculties. And what I would suggest you do is if you pop onto our website, what we have for every single one of our courses is an admission statement, which will set out exactly what we require from you as part of the admissions process. A big part of that will be, first of all, that your undergraduate degree is in a related or relevant discipline. So, for example, if you have a bachelor's degree in management, it's quite unlikely that we're going to be able to consider you for any of our postgraduate courses in medicine, for example. But another aspect of the application that is incredibly important is the personal statement. And that is a written piece. So it's usually around 1 or 2 pages where you explain to us why you want to study that course, why you want to study it at the University of Bristol, and why, how that will help you in the future. So that's a really important part of the application, and each of our admission statements sets out exactly what we're looking for there. So the GPA, of course, is an important requirement, but you also need to make sure that you're including all of the relevant documentation alongside that. And if you've got any questions at all about those specifics, you're not sure exactly what you need to do as part of the application process, do send me an email with the email address on the screen now. I'm going to answer a couple more quick questions before our time is up. This one's about work permits while you're studying a PhD. So any student on the UK with a student visa is typically able to work between 10 and 20 hours per week alongside their studies. So that's during your studies. Once you've graduated, there is a new postgraduate and post-work study visa, which means you can stay and work in the UK for 2 years after you've completed your degree. So not only is there the possibility of working part-time alongside your studies, there is now also the opportunity to remain in the UK for 2 years after you've graduated. So if you are interested in working in the UK, then yes, studying your master's is definitely a good time to take up that opportunity. A question that I didn't really address actually in the application, but which is incredibly important, is the timeline in terms of the application. So most of our postgraduate applications will close in July, but we would recommend that you apply as soon as possible, because if those courses do fill up, we will close them. So offers are made on a first come, first served basis. So I would recommend for you to apply as soon as you possibly can. So this student says, is March a good time to apply? I'd say March or earlier if you can. For the scholarships, do apply before those deadlines I mentioned, which are in March and June. We won't accept any late applications, so apply for the course first as soon as you possibly can, and then apply for the scholarship before those two deadlines. Just to note, this is not what this question is asking about, but for undergraduate applicants, please try your best to apply before the 26th of January in the year that you're looking to start your course, because that is a deadline for undergraduate applications, and we can close our most popular courses after that date. So for the absolute best chance of getting an offer, please do apply before the 26th of January. For undergraduates and for postgraduates, please apply as soon as possible, but the deadline will typically be sometime in July. I'm just going to have a pop through the final questions to see if there's anything that we've not addressed. Good question here, which I'm assuming is about undergraduate applications, and that's about APs. We do require AP tests alongside the US high school diploma. Usually we're looking for 3 APs. There will be subject-specific requirements for some of our courses. So, for example, our engineering courses will require Calculus BC at grade 5. But if you want to know the exact requirements, do shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to give you the exact requirements. Got a question about architecture, which unfortunately isn't a discipline that we offer at the University of Bristol. So if you are interested in architecture, do take a look at other UK universities. UE Bristol, the University of the West of England, that's another university in Bristol, does offer courses in architecture. So if Bristol sounds like a city that's for you, but you're interested in architecture, then certainly take a look at them. We do more questions about English, which of course I appreciate is a tricky one. Like I said, if your course was previously, so your bachelor's degree, for example, was fully taught and assessed through the medium of English, we may be able to accept that. Just include details of that in your application. Unfortunately, we are not accepting Duolingo at this time, and that may change depending on any changes to the global pandemic. But currently, we are not accepting the Duolingo test. But like I said, there are a number of other online courses that we do accept. And then I'm going to answer one final question before we end this webinar, and that is about if your GPA is lower than 3.1, which is our requirement. So like I said, 3.1 is the standard requirement. That's equivalent to what we call a 2-1 degree in the UK. If your GPA is slightly lower than that, for some courses, we do have some flexibility. We may be able to make you an offer. However, what I would suggest is having a look at your application and seeing what other strengths you have. So, for example, if your GPA is slightly below 3.1, but you have lots and lots of relevant and really high quality work experience that will make you a good student on this course, then certainly apply. But if there is nothing additional to make up for that lower GPA, then it may well just be worth considering other universities. However, if you do want to chat about it, like I said, my email address is on the screen now. I can advise you whether or not the course you're interested in typically shows any flexibility, and then that just avoids you submitting an application and wasting your time. Or I can say, yes, this course usually does have a little bit of flexibility, so do go ahead and submit an application. So if you're not sure about your eligibility, you're not sure about the English language requirements, do send me an email. That's absolutely what I'm here for. So do send me an email if you have any questions at all about the application process. But yeah, that's all the time and all the questions we have today. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you and to answer all of your questions. I hope it's been really useful for you, that the information has helped you to start making your decisions about studying at the University of Bristol. But like I said, any further questions, do send me an email. Otherwise, that's all from me today. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Sarah. It was really informative webinar for the attendees. And also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Diğer sorularınız için Sarah Hoca'nın maili ekranda paylaşılmış durumda. University of Bristol ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için mail adresinden ulaşabilirsiniz. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Herkese iyi akşamlar.